Longhorn fans, Sooner Nation, welcome to episode 122 of the Bevo Podcast, the only podcast exclusively dedicated to covering the greatest rivalry in college football, the University of Oklahoma and the University of Texas. I'm here with my man, Kevin Miller. I am John Whitson. Kevin, I don't need the USA men's basketball team to win every game by 40. I need them to step up in the fourth quarter when they're down and the back's against the wall and the entire nation has given up on them. Okay? I need to know that LeBron James has it in him to rise up when it counts. That Stephen Curry can reestablish himself as the greatest shooter of all time when it counts. And that Joel Embiid, despite the malingering he gets in the playoffs of the NBA, can realize that he is indeed a basketball player. That's what we saw yesterday afternoon. The entire country had given up on Team USA. They were reveling in their demise, and yet they turned it around, pulled it out, beat arguably the best player in the world right now, and are on to the finals against your Victor Wembanyama-led friends. How good was that basketball game yesterday? Give me your thoughts. The hoodie is on. Clearly you're representing. Go.
Okay, man. First of all, what an incredible basketball game, right?
So
Serbia came out. They were so good to start the game, right? They're not missing anything. They're playing really good defense. They're moving the ball all over the court. We really couldn't shoot. It just seemed like one of those games, right? I felt like we were competing, but every time, they get up by 15, 16 points, we'd make a run, get it within 5, and then next thing you know, they go on another 8-0 run, and we're down by 15 again. Jokic was great. Bogdanovic was great. Micic hit some big shots off the bench for him. It just seemed like it just wasn't going to happen, right? I mean, once we got in the middle of the third quarter, they made that run to get back in it, and then Serbia went on another run. It just seemed like it wasn't going to happen. What did you think about that? I mean, did you think that there was any chance for them to come back and win when they were down 15 towards the end of the third?
Yes.
I knew there was a chance, but it just wasn't seeming likely, right?
They're the best team in the world. They're the best players in the world.
Yeah.
If they decide, LeBron James decided to play basketball. Look, he doesn't have it every night, but he had it. He had it yesterday.
Yeah.
And when he decided to take on Jokic and guard him in the paint, look, Jokic pushes everybody around, right? Jokic would send me to he'd send me to the nosebleed section, right? If I try, but he does that to everybody. Embiid couldn't handle him. LeBron said, I got it. That's what you want to see from the leaders on your team, is for him to step up defensively and say, I'll need double teams. I'm going to need help, but I'll be the primary guy on it. Dude, that was huge, dude.
You got to step up there.
And it changed the entire template of the game. I thought Bogdanovic got a little over his skis when he starts talking trash to Carmelo. Listen, Carmelo's Mr. USA. Everybody on that team loves Carmelo. I mean, Carmelo is an enigmatic player in the NBA. He, in many ways, never lived up to his potential. Won an NCAA championship, legendary there as a freshman for Syracuse. And then legendary as a USA team player. And he was whatever in the pros. It's a very weird career, right?
But the thing I think the point you're making here, though, is that players love Carmelo. I mean,
love him.
He's what they call a hooper's hooper.
And LeBron especially. They came in together. They were kindred spirits. They were entering the league at the same time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of links. And so when Bogdanovic decided to, start talking a little trash, listen, nothing motivates basketball players better than trash talk. Nothing in the world. It's the ultimate chip on the shoulder type situation. It's like when he started doing that, it was like, oh, okay. And I don't know, man. Look, we've talked about this. It's hard, Kevin Durant. It's hard to cheer for him. But by the way, he didn't have a great game.
He did not. No, he hit some shots in the fourth quarter, but up until that point, it was a weird game. They were really lazy too on their rotations defensively for the first 2.5 quarters. I mean, they're not fighting through screens. They're just leaving guys open. They're not chasing the 3-point line. It was very interesting up until really the end of the third quarter.
D Wade pointed out that it's defensive rebounding. That's the Achilles heel of this team. Embiid is not a great rebounder. I don't even know how many he had. I think he only had like 4 yesterday. I've got it here. Hold on, let me pull it up really quick. Embiid only had 4 rebounds. LeBron James and Steph Curry led the way with 12 and 8 respectively. So LeBron James, okay, but Steph Curry getting 8 rebounds and being the second highest rebounder on your team,
he's a great guard. He's a great rebounder for a guard, but you don't expect with that lineup for him to
it's all. And see, here's the thing. Victor's playing pretty well. He's kind of having a quiet Olympics, but he just changes the dynamic of the game. You know that. We know that. He's got a better supporting cast than he's ever had with Spurs.
Oh, for sure. Oh,
Listen.
the crowd is going to be a crazy. I mean, that atmosphere yesterday was crazy. On Saturday for the gold medal game, it's going to be off the charts, man.
Off the charts. So I'm really, really excited. It was a great game. Look, it's counterintuitive. I want it to be close games. I want to see our guys tested. I want to see that. And if that means they have to coast for the first 2 quarters, I guess. I don't know. But winning by 30, it almost makes you resent them. Like, why are y'all even there? But to get tested, to get pushed, and we're going to talk about a bunch of Olympics at the end. We're going to get to OU football and Texas football here in a sec. We'll talk a lot of Olympics, though, after that. I love the resilience, the adversity. That's what the Olympics is about. That's what we saw yesterday from the men's basketball team. To beat France, though, KD is going to have to play better. I think we know that. And they're going to have to find an answer for Wembanyama, because I don't know if defensively they've got an answer for Wembanyama and Gobert. And we keep saying, when we talk about rebounding, they got Wembanyama and Gobert on the same front court.
Yeah. Now we'll see if Gobert is more of a factor, because he hasn't been. I think he played 3 minutes, and not the game yesterday, but the one before that. I'm not sure how many he ended up with.
How much did they win by, though?
Yesterday?
No, 2 days ago.
I don't know. He only played 3 minutes. He wasn't part of the game plan at all.
Well, maybe they're saving him for the. But anyway, it's great. I loved it. I know the whole nation loved it. And I like seeing them come back. That's the American thing to do. All right. Fall camp storylines continue. Oklahoma and Texas. We started with Texas last week. We'll start with Oklahoma this week. But the theme of the camp is roughly the same, unfortunately, for both schools. Injuries. Jaden Gibson, probably the most hyped from a potential standpoint receiver. We've seen what Nick Anderson could do. There's question marks around Andrell Anthony. We know what Deion Burks can do, but everybody was picking Jaden Gibson as the breakout star in the receiving corps for Oklahoma. 6'5", over 200 pounds. He's matured, all the things. Goes down with a knee injury, and it's not good. Nobody's happy about it. Texas fan has been supportive. OU fans. I do think, though, Kevin, if you're going to suffer an injury on OU's team and OU's roster, best absorbed in the receiving corps. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. You're pretty deep there. You got a lot of guys who have shown that they can make plays. I mean, it sucks, right? Because we know how much work these kids put into this. So to see a guy like that, who's kind of just now coming into his own, get injured. I don't know if he's out for the season. I haven't heard anything official from Venables on it, but sounds like it's not good. So yeah, it's very unfortunate. But you do have guys there that can step up and replace the void.
I was listening to Chris Plank on the Plank Show this week on KREF, and he talked about to the website Our Lads, OURLADS.com, ourlads.com. I've never had a website that makes finding the too deep so simple. for any school.
Hey.
It's fantastic. So if you're out there and you're like, what's the projected 2 deep for your team? And they even go 3 deep, ourlads.com. Anyway, they project Andrell Anthony. I guess maybe they're expecting him to be back from injury. Nick Anderson, Deion Burks as your starting receivers. It's possible Jaden Gibson, maybe more than possible, probable he wasn't going to crack that starting lineup unless Anthony wasn't ready to roll. Followed by Farouk, Brennan Thompson, Jaquez Petaway, J.J. Hester on the 3rd string. If you told me Farouk, Thompson, and Petaway, I feel pretty good about it, except from a size standpoint. You do have some size with Nick Anderson, Anthony and Burks coming off a knee injury. It would have been nice to have Jaden Gibson there, but I think we're okay.
Yeah, it's a deep room. Very deep room.
What else do we have? Alternate uniforms were released. Have you seen these?
I did. What did you think of them?
I freaking love them.
Okay.
I love them.
Fans are always, on the fence about alternate uniforms.
I don't think that's true. I think that my opinion has changed over time. Okay. OU fan, and myself in particular, did not like the Rough Rider alternate uniforms. We hated them. Gotcha. Because for the very simple fact, and I've made this point before, and I'll make it again. This is no offense to fat people, but they made OU players look fat and slow. They made them look fat and slow. They made Kyler Murray look fat and slow. He's playing West Virginia, and he looked like the slowest guy on the field. And that's Kyler Murray, the fastest quarterback to ever play, maybe. Whatever, right? And so I hated those. I hated the combos. They did all reds one time against Iowa State, which was just terrible. And they played terrible.
I do remember that because that was the day that was the day I moved to Oklahoma. Literally the same day.
When we played Iowa State?
Yeah, I was driving down in a Penske truck, and Casey and I were trying to stream the game on my phone. And I'm just watching, I'm listening and watching. I'm just like, are y'all about to lose to Iowa State?
Yes,
I wasn't happy about it because we had to play all the next week.
Right. And that was the Mark Andrews game the following week. But anyway,
yeah,
they were terrible. Okay. Last couple years, was it last year or 2 years ago? They introduced the Unity, the anthracite.
I'm not sure when they introduced them, but I know you definitely wore them last year.
I love those. I think they're so rad. And I like them in basketball. My mind's blanking if we've rolled them out like in baseball or softball, but if we have or haven't, I would love them in that case. I just think those are really cool because we look fast and athletic and sleek and modern, and I'm okay with it. These are an homage. I mean, some of those pictures, the side-by-sides they did with like Bud Wilkinson and Brent, how cool is that, dude? Like that's what's coming to the SEC is that level of tradition.
It's legit tradition.
Oh my God, dude. So I just think it looks really good. So I think now they come out and they look fat and slow. I'll be the first to say I hate them. I have a question
though. Now, are the Rough Rider ones, are those actually
They're gone.
Throwback? No, I'm saying, did y'all used to wear those at some point? Or was that just kind of an alternate? Okay.
No, that was a Nike.
I never wore those. It's just, okay.
It's terrible. God, it's so bad.
So I always assumed it was a throwback uniform.
To what?
Texas, I don't know. Something from the 40s? Who knows? We even see NFL teams rocking these crazy throwback uniforms from the 1940s that look ridiculous.
No.
Green Bay Packers.
No, they weren't any kind of throwback. They were throw up. That's what they were.
Well, these are throwbacks for sure.
These are sure.
Yeah.
My wife's Alice first game ever was against North Texas. She came and watched us in 2003. When would that have been? 03, right? We opened up against North Texas, and they wore a very similar throwback. Looked really cool. Jason White was in it. It rained like crazy in the second half. I don't even think we stayed through the second half. It just rained like crazy. But I like seeing them come back. I'm excited about them.
Good.
Texas doesn't necessarily love alternates either, though, do they?
No, they don't. They've never had an alternate. They've had a couple of throwbacks that they wear, right? The kind that they don't say Texas on them. It's just a burnt orange uniform, and then they wear the helmet that has the uniform numbers on the helmet as well. That's it. That's
Actually,
it. No kind of. I love them. I think they're great. They don't wear them very often, and like I said, there's never been an alternate uniform, and it doesn't sound like there will be anytime soon.
I
The
respect that.
players like that. That's for the players, right? Us fans, OG fans, we don't really. We feel like there's so much history in our uniforms, our respective uniforms, that there's no need to ever change them, right? Kids, they like seeing new stuff.
I can't
That's
imagine
what,
I can't imagine they like the Rough Riders. I just can't
maybe
imagine. They
not.
were so ugly, dude.
Yeah, I can see that. But like schools like Oregon, right, who have all these crazy uniform combinations, the kids like it, the players like it, recruits like it.
Hey, if it helps recruits, I'm for it. I actually dig the throwback and the homage. And as long as we don't look fat and slow. Preseason coaches poll came out. There are a record number of conference members from the SEC in the top 25. Now, is it a little skewed because you've added OU and Texas? Maybe, but still, 9 SEC teams in the top 25. No surprises. Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Bama, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Michigan, Penn State, Florida State. OU at 16th. I'm going to say properly ranked. I don't think there's any big concern there.
Okay. I think I was
You
thinking
think
you
that's
guys
too
more
low?
around. I thought you would think it was too low. I was thinking you would think OU more at 12, 11.
I would like to see us finish at 11 and make it into the college football playoff. But as far as where we start, I don't know. It's better than some of these online polls that have come out that don't even have OU ranked, and they're basing it completely on the schedule. And as a preseason poll goes, it shouldn't be this is how I project to finish, but this is the top 25 best teams in the country. OU is in the top 25 best teams in the country.
Correct.
Now they might go 8-4 and be
You'll
left
still be in the
out.
top 25, I think, even if you go 8-4.
I think you're right, and that's my point. And so I don't know what the rationale is for the others. 16. I'm not gonna get worked up. I can't get worked up over 16, can I? I don't think I can get worked up.
Yeah, listen. I really don't care about the preseason poll. Texas is ranked 4. Okay, if they're ranked 8th, I wouldn't be upset. Like just go win football games. Let's go.
Another ranking came out last couple of days from ESPN and their FPI. They ranked the top. Not the top. They ranked the entire strength of schedule list. So to no surprise, Florida was at the top of the list with their strength of schedule. They have the number 1 strength of schedule, Florida Gators, followed by, again, a bunch of SEC teams. Mississippi State at 2, Georgia at 3, Kentucky 4, Auburn 5, Bama 6, OU 7, Tennessee 8, Texas at 10. And we're talking about the entire country. So what did I just say? 9 out of the top 10's toughest schedules are in the SEC.
That's right.
Does that, I'm going to ask, before we start breaking those schedules down real quick, does that help SEC members, specifically OU and Texas, in their case to make it to the playoff? Or is the schedule so difficult and the cannibalization of the teams in this league, is it going to exclude some really good teams from the playoffs? What do you think?
I think it helps. I think it gives you the benefit of the doubt. If you lose a game or two, there's going to be 2-loss teams, maybe even a 3-loss team that gets into the playoffs because their schedule is so hard. If you pass the eye test, right, how you look at the football team, but you have a couple of close losses to good teams in the conference, I think you'll still get into the playoff.
Oklahoma, like I said, ranked 7th in strength of schedule. Texas ranked 10th. Much has been talked about of how easy Texas's SEC schedule is, relatively speaking, to the other teams.
Correct.
But within the scheme of 131 FBS teams, 7-10 is a statistical tie in terms of strength of schedule. Does that make you see what I'm saying?
I see exactly what you're saying.
So is Oklahoma, I guess, are we being siloed and we're looking at this going, our schedule's way, 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 way too hard, and Texas is too easy because we just don't like Texas and don't want to give you the credit? Or is your schedule actually really that difficult and we're just not realizing it? Or is it loaded because it's an SEC and not necessarily as hard? I mean, the FPI is computer generated, right?
Yeah, it's an algorithm. So no, I was a little bit surprised to see Texas ranked this high. Now, obviously, that non-conference game against Michigan is very tough, right? Where is Michigan ranked? Let me pull up that list again. On the FPI in general, I don't see them
On the FPI.
They're ranked 12th in the FPI, just in general.
Okay, and their schedule
Right.
looks like, I don't know what to count it all, like 18th or 19th.
Yeah, somewhere around that.
Okay.
But they're putting a lot of stock into that game, clearly, for Texas. Obviously having to play Georgia too. When you have to play the number 1 team, we play the number 8 team in OU.
Okay, let's just go through this real quick, okay?
Let's
This is
do it.
OU, Texas, and then we'll transition over to Texas fall stuff. This will be a good segue. But let's just set this out 3 weeks before game time. Who has the toughest schedule? We will make the decision right here. No, we don't need FPI. Who is the toughest team on your schedule?
Georgia.
I agree with that. I think ours is Bama until proven otherwise.
Fair enough.
Is your next one Oklahoma, or are you going to put Michigan there?
I'm actually going to put Oklahoma there.
Okay. And then I will put Texas. Okay, so those just kind of cancel each other out. So we still have Bama and Georgia. So for your third toughest one, I mean, this is a problem, right? You start getting the SEC games, it's Michigan before any other SEC team, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm going to say ours is Ole Miss.
Completely agree.
And I think, isn't Ole Miss ranked higher than Michigan? They are in the coaches poll. I don't know about the FPI.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss will probably be ranked 5th or 6th to start the season. No lower than 7.
Okay. So now,
interestingly enough, though, real quick, in the FPI, they're ranked 16th.
Who is?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is ranked 16th in the FPI?
Yes. OU's ranked 8th, by the way.
Really?
Yes. And
Texas
is ranked 3rd.
Well, that is okay. Where's Michigan at? What did you say Michigan was at?
Let's see. The Wolverines are 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, Georgia's number 1, as you would expect.
So okay, so you've ticked off Georgia, OU, and then Michigan. Who's left? Who's left that you're saying is a tough get?
On Texas A&M was going to be tough.
Okay,
especially with it being there.
I mean, I'm putting down LSU at LSU. I think
yeah, for sure.
It's tougher, right? At least if LSU has any kind of defense.
Yes.
Who do you have after A&M?
Let me pull up the schedule.
See, here's the deal: you're having to start thinking about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've got 3 teams lined up right now.
Yeah, what do you got? Missouri next?
Well, yeah. I've got Missouri,
or Tennessee.
And then I've got.
Actually, no, Tennessee then Missouri, right?
Well, let's say Missouri because it's on the road, and then Tennessee.
Okay.
And then we're looking at yours going, well, maybe Florida, maybe Arkansas, maybe Kentucky, maybe Vanderbilt, not Mississippi State. So I mean,
no. And here's the thing, man. We don't have to list this out for me to look at it and think that you guys have a tougher schedule than Texas does.
Yeah.
You just look at the teams on there. Yeah. So I'm not sure what all goes into this algorithm. Because I was a little surprised to see Texas so high on that list.
I think that it's possible that what's skewing it is Michigan versus Oklahoma. If you would have had, I don't know, SMU or
correct,
pick a good school, but not a what do we have like Temple, Houston, Tulane. Yeah, I don't know who it would have been.
Maine.
Purdue or something like that. Like any other Division I school.
Yeah.
See, Oklahoma has Maine. We have Maine, and that's dragging ours.
Maine, that drags you down. If you had
that drags us down.
An FBS team, even if it was a bad FBS team, you'd probably be even higher than you are now.
Agreed.
Because Georgia, for example, they have Clemson in their non-con.
Who does Bama have in their non-conference? They got a big game this year?
I think they played Wisconsin.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah,
Howie Walker. All right, you're right. We don't have to continue to list it. I think that there's a lot of things. There's a lot of factors, but it's just, to me, 7th and 10th is not very far apart.
No,
but in my mind, it seems like a chasm.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have to play. Playing Tennessee, playing LSU, playing Missouri. That's tough, right? Obviously, Alabama's tough, but that kind of cancels out with Texas playing Georgia. So again, the non-con game against Michigan, going on the road there, defending national champions. I still think OU has a tougher schedule, though.
The Texas Longhorns, fall camp storylines, much like Oklahoma, start with bad news. And I think you'll agree with me, way more devastating than the loss of Jaden Gibson is the loss of CJ Baxter at starting tailback. True freshman last year, you were very high on him. He started a number of games, eventually lost the job to Brooks, but only because Brooks was just having a heck of a season. Felt really good about him coming in. It hurts the depth at running back. Walk us through what Texas fans feeling. Walk us through the depth at running back as you see it now. And what does this change in terms of the outlook for your season, if at all?
Yeah, very disappointing, man. Disappointing for him. He's a kid who came in, early as a true freshman, won the starting job in fall camp. He got banged up though in the first game, kind of put him behind. And again, like you said, Jonathan Brooks just separated himself and had, pretty much an All-American type season before he ended up getting injured. So CJ Baxter was, poised to be our starting running back and lead the team in carries. And I was projecting him to have a very, very big season this year. So it does hurt the team just because we have other guys, right? We have Jaden Blue. But I think what we were hoping is to have a kind of a thunder and lightning type deal, right? CJ Baxter, 6'1", 220, as more of the power back. And then we've got the flash guy with Jaden Blue who could take it to the house almost any time, right? So now we're going to have to readjust. We've got some guys. We got a lot of young guys. Trey Wisner, he's a sophomore out of DeSoto. He was a really, really good special teams player as a true freshman. Got a few carries and looked good when he did get some carries, but he was just buried down the depth chart. So we don't know how good he's going to be at running back, but he'll be asked to play a bigger role. And we have 2 true freshmen. The Gibson kid out of Garrett Gibson out of Florida, IMG Academy. He's a big running back too. He's about 5'10", but about 215 pounds. I wasn't projecting him to play a lot this year. That's going to have to change. These guys are going to have to get ready to go now. We also have Christian Clark, who's about 6 foot, 205 pounds, can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's a true freshman out of Arizona. So now everybody gets elevated from where they were. And these guys who we didn't expect to have to count on this year are going to have to be counted on. I think with this happening right now, we can get these guys ready to go. Are we going to be as good at running back without CJ Baxter? Absolutely not. But I still think we have enough to make some good things happen this year. And it doesn't change the outlook on the season too much because we still have some time.
returning offensive line, you're very comfortable with, right?
Very.
So I think that's always feels good, but I think it feels even better in this situation because to me, the biggest drop off for running back is not the running of the ball. All these dudes can run the ball, right? Like they're all really good. IMG, if you're playing at IMG and you're being recruited by Texas, you're a good running back. The problem tends to occur in the pass protection and pickup and reading the blitz and being a part of that piece, right? And maturing to the speed of the game and the intricacies of the blitzes and all of those things. So for me, if I'm Texas fan, that's where my brain is at. Is this impacting our pass protection for Quinn? Right? Is this impacting our ability to game plan? Without Max protecting. So that to me, it seems to be the biggest question. But this sucks, dude. This sucks for Texas. It's a big loss.
It's a massive loss. It's a massive loss. And the thing is, like you said, with the pass protection, CJ Baxter showed the ability to master that in fall camp last year, even as a true freshman. That's partly why he won the starting job, because he was so good at that. So I'm hoping with, over these 3 weeks, that's really what they're working on. These guys, like you said, these guys can run the football. I'm glad that we have Tashard Choice as a running backs coach, a guy who played in the NFL.
Played for OU, didn't he?
For OU before. Yeah, he did. Started off at OU before
transferring
went to
Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played in the NFL, Cowboys. Great recruiter, great coach. Everybody loves this dude. And yeah, so I do really trust him as a running backs coach to be able to get these guys up to speed and ready to go. But again, it doesn't matter because CJ Baxter, we're talking about a 5-star running back here out of the state of Florida. Again, played quite a bit last year, did a good job, got his feet wet. I think he had improved. There were some things, he was a little indecisive in some of his runs last year. And I think we're going to see a really big season from him. But again, long term, though, from what I'm hearing, they feel good about his chances of coming back next year with a full recovery. So it'll be nice to see him come back a year from now. But for this year, we got some guys that are definitely going to have to step up and make some things happen.
Along the lines of injuries, the SEC is, as a conference, is pushing for mandatory injury reports. College football has been notorious for giving out. College football coaches have been notorious for giving out very vague injury reports and injury updates. I think Cam Rising might be the poster child for that as of late. I think he was expected to play in every single game last year and didn't play in any single game last year.
Yeah.
I know that's Utah, but still across the board, college football coaches are very, very adverse to letting the opponents know who will be and will not be playing. Do you agree with the SEC in releasing injury reports? Is there really any detriment in doing that?
I don't think so. I mean, I wonder what their reason is. Is it just to cut down on the gamesmanship? Is it for betting purposes? I'm just curious what their reasoning for wanting to enforce this is. That's really my question. Why?
I think the SEC is just trying to take a leadership role, and maybe it is betting. Maybe it is. I just think the SEC is trying to be a leader in this space, and they're trying to be on the forefront versus playing catch up. That's the only thing I can think of. So I don't know. I don't know what the big deal is. I still don't know what the big deal is for coaches, though, just to say, oh, he's out.
Correct. Yeah.
Like, what? Who are they fooling? Like, who was Kyle Whittingham fooling last year with Cam Rising? After the third game of the season, he wasn't coming back, and everybody knew it. It was weird.
For sure. Yeah, it was very, very odd. But I guess, if you're a defensive coordinator, you have to at least spend some time preparing for Cam Rising in case he just happens to walk out there for the first snap. So maybe just make sure to, you can't put all your focus on one quarterback or one. You know what I mean? That's the only. You know how these coaches are, man.
No,
Anything
I
they can do
know.
to get an edge, they're going to do it,
Uh,
even if that
Texas
edge is something that nobody else takes seriously but them.
Texas is jumping up the recruiting ranks. 17 commits, number 12 according to 247. Kevin, do you feel good about where your recruiting is right now?
Okay, I do feel good about it. Don't feel great, but it's still early. Picked up Khalid Lockett, 5-star receiver, this week. Huge pickup for Texas. Got a Saxy, Texas, down in the Metroplex. I'm a big fan of this kid. He runs really good routes. He has great hands, has a great catch radius. Looking forward to him getting to Texas and showing what he can do on the field. We'll know more about recruiting after this month. Okay, there are 4 other 5-star level recruits that Texas is in for that are announcing this month. Okay,
How many of those is Oklahoma going up against you guys with?
really just one that I can think of.
Fasusi?
Fasusi, yeah, and that's a name
Yeah.
that Texas and OU fans should be familiar with, right? 5-star offensive tackle out of the Metroplex as well. And I'm hearing A&M is in it, but I think it's going to come down to Texas or Oklahoma. I think he has a great relationship with both Kyle Flood, Texas offensive line coach, and Bevo, Oklahoma's offensive line coach. So we'll see. And from what I'm hearing, both schools feel pretty confident about it. So this is a big time player at offensive tackle.
Would you
One of
expect
those
NIL? Would you expect NIL packages amongst OU and Texas to be very similar for a guy like this?
I would
I
imagine
mean,
so.
are they
Yeah,
gonna? Are both schools gonna remove all doubt that NIL is not going to be a factor?
yeah, it has to be a factor here when you're talking about a
Well, yeah, I don't
five-star
know.
offensive lineman. No, but I mean like to where you do things that you might not normally do for other players.
Okay, yeah.
And everything's on the table. It seems like one of those. He's that talented. And again, offensive tackle, we're talking about a position it's hard to find guys who are that good. And it's such an important position, right? With all these edge guys that we're seeing in college football now, you have to have a guy who can protect quarterback's blind side. He is a guy who can come in and really do that. So it's a huge deal. So we'll see. He's announcing this month. Michael Terry out of San Antonio, Alamo Heights High School. He's a 5-star athlete. Can play receiver, can play tight end, can play linebacker. Texas is in for him. Interesting. His final 3 is looking like Texas, Oregon, and Nebraska. He
Hmm.
visited Nebraska. Matt Rule doing a really good job with that recruitment there. He's visited all 3 schools in the last month. He'll be deciding later this month. So we'll see what happens there. And then Jonah Williams, I don't know if you remember him. OU was really high on him. It seemed like at one point he was going to go to OU. I'm not sure what's been happening lately. Texas didn't seem to be in it at all, but somehow they've got back in it. He's a really talented baseball player who will have
Isn't
a
he the guy?
decision to make. Go ahead.
Yeah, isn't he the guy that OU told him you can't play both?
I'm not sure. Did you guys tell him that? I
Don't take my word on it, but I feel like that's the story. I feel like somebody
Interesting.
told him this is you're either this or it's either football or nothing. Like
Interesting.
so,
I don't imagine you telling a kid that talented that even
or
if
maybe not.
even if you intend on making that happen.
Okay, well, just take
But
that with a grain of salt. Maybe
yeah,
I heard that. I could be completely
no, you
wrong.
could
So
be
I,
you
yeah,
could be right. And if you just don't
yeah.
want the kid to play, it's best to be honest with him up front. But him, I'm hearing anywhere between Texas, Texas A&M, LSU.
Where's he out of?
He's out of the Houston Galveston. He's out
Okay.
of
Oh,
Galveston.
you so.
Yeah, 6'3" safety,
Oh,
really
I hope
talented
he did.
athlete. He could be a safety, could end up growing into a linebacker. He's one of those guys. Tall, rangy guy, dynamic athlete. Really talented baseball player, though. I mean, really
So
talented. Center
those are
field or middle infield position.
those are 4 or 5 stars you're in on? Are all those 5 stars?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. So we'll see. We'll know more by the end of this month. Texas will either still be right around where they are now, or they could potentially be in the top 5.
Oklahoma, I won't say they've fallen, but they've been passed up, right? So they're now at 11th, only 1 spot ahead of Texas. The problem is they've got 22 commits already. So there's not the room, I think, to make as big a splash as potentially Texas could. Fasusi could be the crowning achievement, though. You put a 5-star offensive lineman on top of 22 other commits that rank in the top 11. That's going to put you in the 7th or 8th spot, I think, nationally. So I'm not concerned about where OU's at. I really hope they get Fasusi. They get Fasusi, and you feel really good about this class. They don't, and you're like, is this the momentum we need to take in the SEC?
Remember, we have till December, right? Here's the thing about recruiting now that we're in the SEC. The majority of players that we lose out on in recruiting, we're going to have to go up against. Unless you're going to Ohio State or Oregon.
I know.
Pretty much everybody we lose, we're going to have to face.
Well, here's the deal. Ohio State or Oregon, we're going to see them in the playoff. It's a 12-team playoff now.
Correct.
So it's not like one team that you're going to see these guys. I said this 2.5 years ago when we started this podcast, that I see the evolution of the college football landscape being the Big Ten and the SEC. Like, that's it. It's NFL light. That's the AFC and the NFC right there,
Yeah.
And you're going to see so many teams from those 2 conferences in the playoff that you're going to see them fairly regularly if you're in playoff contention. I believe that. So I'll tell you who you don't want him to go to. You don't want to go to Oregon. Dan Lanning just keeps piling up recruits up there, and they've got all the money in the world to spend. They've got good coaches. I won't call them a sleeping giant, but it's just one of those schools that sneak up on you. You kind of go along, and then you forget how good Oregon is.
The thing about Oregon is what Dan Lanning is doing there. They really have it done. They've gotten good recruits, right? Like D'Anthony Thomas was a 5-star, and they've got like Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner. But overall, they've never recruited to the level of Georgia, Ohio State, even Texas, Alabama, Oklahoma. But with Dan Lanning, if they start piling up those type of guys, then they're very, very dangerous. Very dangerous.
It's a problem. Kevin, let's take a minute here. Thank our title sponsor, Brown O'Haver. Brown O'Haver works for the insured, not the insurance company. If you've had a loss to your home or your business that you've had to file an insurance claim on, you need to call Brown O'Haver, 405-735-5510. Stop screwing around with the insurance company. They suck. No matter how much you work with them or hope that they are going to change, they will continually and inexorably suck. If you're a Texas fan and you think OU sucks, or you're an OU fan and you think Texas sucks, it's that level of suckage that you can apply to every insurance company in the world. Stop messing with them. Call Brown O'Haver, who does not suck, coincidentally. 405-735-5510. Kevin, Olympic updates. We've already talked about men's basketball, which was so fun. I got to bring up this girl, okay? I put Alice on notice that if this girl ever reaches out to me, I'm out. Okay? I'm out. And I think there's a good chance, right? I think it's 50-50 that she probably DMs me, You know who I'm talking about, though? Can you guess which Olympian I'm talking about? And there's a lot of good-looking Olympians, but this one is above and beyond. She's not real. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Are we talking about the woman who won the 200 meters?
Yes.
Oh, one Gabby Thomas.
She is not real. She is computer generated to be the perfect woman. She won a 200-meter gold. I don't think she broke a sweat. Her hair was perfect. She Harvard educated, okay? She's down in Austin, which one strike against her, but I would live in Austin with her. I'm telling you that right now. She is perfect. I did reach out to her on Twitter, not directly, but like via Twitter, and just asked her to run for president. This is not a political statement, but the two whats we have running wouldn't hold a candle to this lady. She's so well spoken. She's gorgeous. She's athletic. She's smart. I don't even know what's happening right now. I have a thing for Gabby Thomas, and I don't know if it's going to go away. It's amazing. Did I think she's get weird?
Listen.
I hope I didn't make that weird.
No, not weird at all, man. Just not weird at all. She's incredible. She's incredible. She's one of many. That's what's crazy.
Is she going to be on a 4x100 relay? God, I hope so.
Hopefully the 4x200 for sure. I don't know.
Do they run a 4x2?
They do. I think they run a 4x4. So
I don't know if they run a 4x2.
Okay, maybe they do.
I don't think they do. I think they run a 4x4 and a 4x1.
Okay, maybe she will be. I'm not sure who's going to be in that, but hopefully she is, man. Because the world needs more Gabby Thomas. That's for sure.
And then staying in the realm of track and field, Quincy Hall. No offense to my boy, but for as well spoken as Gabby Thomas is, he is not well spoken.
Yeah, I mean he's not a guy who's used to doing interviews. That's for sure.
But the dude, one of the greatest comebacks I've ever seen in a sprint event. Please describe to the listeners and viewers what you saw when you saw Quincy Hall run this 400.
Well, I saw a guy who was in fourth place after the final turn, coming down the final straightaway, and was grimacing. It looked like he was in pain, in severe pain, and somehow dug deep, accelerated, and passed three very fast runners to win the gold medal. It was absolutely incredible.
It was a gear I've never seen in a race like that, because you said it best. The announcer said he's grimacing, he's falling back, he's hurting. All the adjectives to describe somebody. You expected him to finish last. You're wondering how he's going to maintain the pace he's at. Not only did he maintain it, he increased it. And to your point, caught and passed three world-class sprinters in the last 50 meters of probably the hardest sprint. It is an all-out sprint for 400 meters. Listen, man, this dude was fantastic. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about with the basketball team. Now, Gabby, she won that thing going away, but she's so pretty, it doesn't matter. But this is what you want to see. If this guy wins the 400 and is in the lead the whole time, we're not even bringing him up on a podcast. Like, good job, man. Great.
Yeah, it's quick congratulations.
But what we saw and what he overcame and the heart, look, this is what the Olympics are about, is what that guy experienced in the last 100 meters. To overcome that adversity, dude. I'm here for it. Also, another dude, I'm sticking with it. Cole Hawker, the 1,500 meter guy. He stared down the two best 1,500 meter guys of this decade. And they were so caught up in a mano-a-mano match. And he recognized it. He saw it. And when he had his opportunity, he took it. I think the last time an American won the 1,500,
who knows when? Long time
eons ago, and he took it. And then our guy Nagoose came in with the bronze, and that guy seemed happier than everybody. I loved it, man. I thought it was great. Again, big strong comeback against two really, really good runners, like world class, championship level, as good as there is in the sport. And he stared him down and ran it. I freaking loved it.
Yeah, man. The Olympics. This edition of the Olympics, man, it's just been so much fun. So much fun. And the track and field, for me, is always the epitome of it.
The pole vault guy from LSU. I liked him.
The dude's unreal. He's unreal. But yeah, just raise it higher. Raise it higher. Yeah, and I'll just keep clearing it.
Oh, I loved every second of it. Yeah. Via LSU, though, right? I mean, can you imagine?
Exactly.
A guy named Duplantis, how he ends up at LSU is...
Yeah, in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. How about that?
Oh, perfect. And then I guess he did an interview the next day with NBC or something, and he looked hungover. And
people I don't blame him at all.
Dude, he went to LSU. That's the least surprising thing. I would be more surprised if he wasn't hungover.
Correct.
Forget it. The guy was
Correct.
The guy was great.
The dude lives in Baton Rouge. Like, what are we talking about?
One last note for me, and then I'm going to turn it over for you. Anything else you want to bring up? The women's soccer girls, the three up top, Trinity Rodman, Sophia Smith, and Mallory Pugh Swanson, have established a nickname for themselves. Have you heard this nickname?
No. Tell me.
Triple Espresso.
Triple Espresso. Okay. What do you think about that?
They can call themselves whatever they want. They're fantastic. They're so freaking good. The goal they had against Germany in extra time, the touch from Swanson, the finish by Smith. Again, Rodman has just been all over the field. Best player on the field. It's not even close. I freaking love it. So if they want to call, I think it's. I think there could have been better names. They didn't ask me. I think I would have come up with some better.
They didn't consult the Boomer Bevo podcast on what they should call themselves.
I think it could have been a little more regal, right? We're looking for gold level standard. Triumvirates. Triplets is always a good name in sports.
Yeah. Triplets is always good.
I don't know what they're going with this with espresso. I don't know if they're speaking to their what's the right word to describe those three? They themselves are racially inclusive, if you know what I'm saying. And I wonder if that's a espresso is a nod to that. I love it. I don't care what they want to call it. I don't care what they want to call themselves. They are so good. And Emma Hayes doesn't give up. Okay? Sorry, kids. I think you know what it means, though. She doesn't care. She is an absolute bulldog. She might not be American, but that's what I want my American coaches to look, sound. That's what I want them to sound. She doesn't care what she's wearing. She's passing notes in the middle of the games. She's getting after it. Do you see press conferences? I ain't talking to y'all. I got to go F and beat Spain. Dude, I love that, man. I love it. She has turned this team around. They're playing with a different energy. I hope that they're playing against Marta. The problem is they're playing against Marta from Brazil. And this is Marta's swan song. Brazil's no joke. So I worry about the Brazil game, but I love what they're doing. I'm excited with what they're doing, and I can't wait to see the gold medal game.
Like, come on, Marta's what? She's in her 40s.
She's got to be 60. I think she's 60.
Right,
she's 60 or 70.
All due respect, she's one of the greatest players of all time. But we got to run right through her. We've got the best players right now in their primes, not even barely coming into their primes. We got to run Marta off the pitch. Come on.
We've got to run Marta off the pitch. That's exactly right. We've got this. Now, Julie Foudy, who's been calling the games for the U.S., a member of the 99 team, has not been happy with Emma's substitutions. She thinks that she's maybe running them a little too hard. Carly Lloyd, on the other hand, says play them. Okay. Like these are soccer players. You play them.
It's tough because only having 2 days in between games, it starts to pile up, and where everybody looked exhausted in the game
and
against
Germany. Two extra time games in a row.
Right. We're talking 120 minutes of football, right? That's a lot. It's a lot.
Do you trust Emma's making the right decision, though, or are you Julie Foudy and you're questioning it?
No, it's one game left. Let's go.
That's exactly. They're soccer players.
Yeah.
We talk about this with basketball players all the time. Listen, I know soccer's hard on the body. I get it. I'm not diminishing that. But you said it. This is why we have a younger team. Alex Morgan couldn't do this. No way. No. But Sophia Smith and Mallory Swanson for a gold medal, and Trinity Rodman. I think Trinity Rodman could go all day. I think she could go on one day's rest. Look, there are times in the world where you, in all sorts of sports, we talked about it with LeBron and stuff, and Hollywood, and so many things where you look at somebody's name and go, the only reason that person's there is nepotism. Trinity Rodman is not there because of nepotism. That girl is amazing. Amazing. And a little bit crazy like her dad. You can see it. It's underneath the deal. Listen, here's the deal. Gabby Thomas is a little bit crazy too, but she keeps it way down, right?
Yeah.
Because women are all crazy. That's it. I'm just sorry. That's it. But Gabby keeps it way down. Trinity's, it's like right on the surface. Like it's gonna happen. And
Yeah, she can't help it.
She can't help it.
It's
Genetic.
it's in the DNA. Correct. 100% genetic.
Did I tell you?
And
Did I tell you I got a high five one time from Dennis Rodman? Have I told this story?
no, you have not.
San Antonio Taft had a high school game in the Alamo Dome, and I didn't play, but I was on the bench before a Spurs game. I think it was like a Spurs 76ers game because Sean Bradley was there, and that dude's so tall. But anyway, me and a buddy of mine snuck down and got really, really close to the point where we could give high fives to the guys as they were coming out for warm-ups. Okay?
Wow.
And Dennis, everybody's giving high fives. It's great. I'm high-fiving everybody that was on that team. This would have been 95,
94, yeah, 94, 95.
Yeah. So whatever that was, whoever was on that team. And Rodman comes up, and his high five was the most violent thing that's ever been done to my body. I mean, it was shocking how hard he high fived me. And honestly, dude, I'm glad it happened just to tell the story. But it hurt. It hurt. I loved it.
Shout out to Dennis Rodman, man. Fun to watch.
Dude.
Hall of Famer. Love him, man.
Tortured soul? Tortured soul, you think?
Oh, my goodness. Absolutely. Well, has anybody played harder on a basketball court? As far as doing the dirty work goes?
Greatest rebounder of all time?
Yeah, because he wasn't 7'3" out there. Maybe 6'8", 6'9", maybe.
Is he an all-time top 5 defensive player in the league?
He's up there, man, because he was really versatile too. He can guard multiple positions.
God, he was good, man.
I've seen him guard Shaq very well, and I've seen him guard 2 guards.
Isn't he the one? He's the one where Phil Jackson tells the story that he went off to Vegas during the finals or something.
Oh yeah, He was like, yeah, he's going.
Southeastern Oklahoma.
Bizarre,
Played in Southeastern. Man. What a I say this a lot, but talk about a truly American figure, right? I don't think you get a Dennis Rodman out of any other country.
No, I don't think so.
Because
I don't think you
got whatever sort of childhood situation he was brought up in, and multiple homes and all this, and then he's playing at rural Southeastern Oklahoma, finds himself in the NBA, and then morphs into a culture figure that far exceeds his basketball status, which was hard to do because he was a good basketball player, and yet still maintained a high level of performance athletically, to then have an afterlife which was beyond strange. I don't know, truly American, tortured soul. But his daughter can flat out ball, absolutely ball.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about not getting the traditional or not taking the traditional path, get to the NBA, right? Dude was working as a custodian at one point before he started playing the junior college basketball. Ends up making the NBA and getting to the Hall of Fame. Are you serious? Without being a scorer?
Yeah, you think about both him and Scottie Pippen. You know, Scottie Pippen, was he Arkansas Little Rock?
Central Arkansas.
Even smaller. Or maybe not. I don't know which one's smaller. But either way, again, not traditional.
No.
And Scottie Pippen, a top 50 player of all time NBA. And I don't know where Rodman ranks as a top player. His scoring probably keeps him
He
down
was on the
list.
top 75 list. He was on the all-time
Was he
75.
Really?
Yeah, he was there at the deal they had at the All-Star game last year.
I'm not arguing that.
Yeah. He talking about Scottie, you know, when he got to college, he was a 6'1" guard. You know, he grew up really poor. I don't think he had never had proper nutrition. He gets to college, starts getting on a, meal program and lifting weights, and he shoots up to 6'8" in college, from 6'1" to 6'8".
How much does him being upset about Tony Kukoc getting that last shot in the playoff game hurt his legacy?
Not much.
You're not worried about it?
Not much for me. No, I don't like it. I understand why he was upset, but you got to go on the court. You can't refuse to go into the game.
That's the difference between a Larry Bird and a Scottie Pippen, and I mean that with like the top tier, top 10 players of all time, and the top 40. Is Larry Bird is on record of going, I don't care what coach just drew up. You get me the ball right here, and I'll make it.
Yeah,
That's how you deal with that situation.
correct.
You don't be a baby about it. You just tell your teammates what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, maybe Scottie didn't have the cachet to do it, which is hard to believe. And it ended up working for Phil Jackson, obviously, who coach makes the shot. Great player, by the way.
Great player. What are one of the first few guys who we saw after the 92 Olympics come over?
Yeah, he was a nifty basketball player, wasn't he? He fit that team really well. He fit that team really, really well.
He did.
All right. We've been going for an hour. What other notes for us? Anything else you want to bring up?
I got to bring up that the University of Texas has 14 medals at the Olympics, man.
OU has a big fat 0.
Well, differences here.
It's okay.
14.
No, Texas is looking really good. And you know what's cool about Texas too is how many international athletes have won. The St. Lucia girl who won the 100-meter dash.
Yeah.
And winning the first ever medal for her country, coming from Texas.
Did you see the reaction? Did you see the reaction of the live watch party that they were having in St. Lucia?
Yes.
Oh man,
it was awesome.
It was amazing. I don't care who you root for. That was incredible to see.
I loved it.
How happy they were to see their country getting their first Olympic medal ever, and a gold in that event. Premier event. No, Texas is good, man, at track and field. They always have been, and it's. I don't know if it's something Oklahoma can even try to compete with. You know what I mean? I think when it comes to softball and baseball and basketball and football, you choose what you can be really good at. For sure. I don't think track and field. I think OU wants to compete and wants to get good, but I'm not sure that's one that OU wants to go head to head with Texas. Yeah, so when they got their track coach, man, it just changed everything. He's recruiting internationally, like you said. Julian Alfred from St. Lucia. They had a guy who wins second place, the silver medal in the decathlon. He's from Germany. Yeah, 6'7", 240. By the way, freakish athlete, dude. It's like, bro, you play football? All those decathletes. You kidding me? Yeah. Jeez, they're so good. All right, shout out. I'm gonna do it. Mark the time. Shout out to Texas. Good job, Scottie Scheffler. By the way, I think we brought it up, but if we didn't, hell of a 62 on Sunday. Holy crap! Yeah, that's how you close out a golf tournament. That's how you close, man. Again, I reiterate, it's like the theme of this show when we're talking about the Olympics. If he goes out and wins by 5, we're like, whatever. Great job, Scottie. No, he went out, shot 60. He shot 29 on the back 9. You have to fight for it. He made John Rahm look at the scoreboard and puke down his leg. That's what happened. John Rahm, it doesn't happen. It happened with Tiger, and it happened with Jack Nicklaus. And there's not a lot of other golfers that it ever happened with. Arnold Palmer, maybe a little bit. Where you looked up at the scoreboard and you were like, oh, crap. When Scottie Scheffler, they're like, oh, crap. They know. And here's the deal. Xander Schauffele has had an historic season. 6 wins, 2 majors. He has played so well throughout the year. But Scottie Scheffler just shut the door on any talk about who's had a better season. He just slammed it down. He's like, dude, I got arrested. I had a kid. I won the Masters, and I won the Players, and I won an Olympic freaking medal shooting 29 on the back on a very hard golf course. Le Golf National in Paris is not easy. And listen, University of Texas, Scottie Scheffler. I said it on Twitter. I suspended my Texas hate and pulled for that guy. He delivered. It was big time. Big time. I feel weird gushing about a Texas guy, but I bleed red, white, and blue, Kevin. You know that. Exactly. Yeah. Country overalls, right? I don't know. If Texas was playing the Nazis, I'd think about it. That says a lot about you.
I'd probably play the spread. You know what I mean? I'd want to know what the spread is. I'd want to know what the spread is. Is that weird? I don't think that's weird. I think that's appropriate.
I think it's very weird, but go ahead.
Huh? I'm not saying I like the
weird,
Nazis. I'm not saying I like the Nazis. I'm saying I don't like Texas.
Okay. You have to think about it. Okay.
I have to think about it.
Okay.
I don't have an answer yet. I'm still thinking.
There's nothing to think about for me, but hey, you feel how you feel. You feel how you feel.
Kevin, before I get in any more trouble and cause an international controversy, I think we should end this. Great show. Listen, guys, here's the schedule for the rest of the summer, right? We've got 3 weeks. This is being recorded on Friday. We've got 3 weeks until game day. Kevin and I will be putting out an episode next week. Still going through fall camp storylines, same kind of stuff. But then in the week, the 2 weeks prior, we're going to put out an Oklahoma preview episode, a Texas preview episode. We're going to go through every game, every position group. We are going to deep dive into our teams so that everybody knows exactly where we're at going into the season. And then, Kevin, it's game week. And we will have our game week previews like we always do. And, dude, I can't wait.
It's here, man.
It's really close.
It's here. It's happening.
Kevin, have a great weekend. Boomer.
Welcome.